Hey, make sure you are liking, following, and subscribing on whatever social media platform that you're listening to the sound of my voice right now. It is your girl, Paula Marie, aka the Ebony Biz Diva, aka Black Girls Do Pilates Too. However, you know me, it's your girl, and we are talking today about tips on how to connect with each other. So, every week I am sending out an email, and it's usually on Sunday. I'm sending out an email to my entire email list because I want my email list to learn ways that they can start to pour into themselves. So, today, inside of this wellness corner, we're going to talk about just really quick ways that we can start to nurture ourselves, not work ourselves to the bone, not worry about things that aren't for us, take better care of ourselves in this upcoming year. That's super important to me. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm your girl Paula Marie. I go by the Ebony Biz Diva on these business and marketing streets. I am a visibility branding coach, and I help my clients to get very clear and strategic about marketing themselves and showing up in their authentic visual brand voice. We do that through their imaging, your videos, and of course, that good SEO. I'm also the creator of Black Pinterest Live Presents. And this year, we are going live in a 2-day summit, February the 21st through the 22nd, talking about content creation for your brand culture and how do we create culture within our brands. Now, if you know me on the fitness and wellness tip, you can follow me at Black Girls Do Pilates Too. Black Girls Do Pilates Too. That's who I am. I'm a Pilates instructor. Been teaching Pilates for about, it'll be 20 years next year. My boy's 19. And I started right before he was born. So I've been a fitness professional for 25 years. So, yeah, let's get into this health and wellness. Let's get into it. So, if you're on my email list and you haven't checked your emails lately, right? There's going to be a slew of emails every Sunday that comes to you that's talking about some ways that we can just talk a little bit more and understand different ways that we can mellow out, we can chill out, we can relax, we can distress, we can start to enjoy the life that we're building because we don't want to burn out. We don't want to stress. We don't want to fatigue. I'm just going to cover a couple of those. So last week, this email went out. There were 14 ways that you could really combat these issues. These emails are packed full of really great chunks of information. Most of them have 12 to 14 tips in them. So they're very robust, they're very big, they're very plentiful. Um, this week, we're talking about how to connect more, especially after this pandemic that we just walked out of. It seems like we were closed and we were really yearning for more connectivity. I know I was. I've made some huge changes in just how I live because I just did not want to be in that space anymore where I was alone. Um, and so this week, we're talking about how to get out of that cocoon because even though the world is opening up, some of you are not. I'm going to say that one more time. Even though the world is opening up, some of you are not. And so I want to just talk about two of these really quickly because I know it's the middle of the day. And then you can go to the link that's below, that's in the description, to be able to read the other 12 points. But the one thing that I want you to understand when it comes to being inside of your cocoon, it's great to sit still. There's nothing wrong with sitting still and connecting with your thoughts and connecting with your feelings, understanding where you've been, where you want to go, and how to like bridge the gap between the two. A lot of really great work happens when we find time to ourselves. But some of y'all take it to a whole nother level, right? And you kind of lean on that thing as a crutch. So I want to make sure that we're not doing that, because there's one thing to find solitude and peace by being alone. There's another to use it to keep you from stepping into your next level or stepping into your next journey or your next phase of life. So since we're on the internets, I wanted to pull this point out that one of the ways that you can step out of that is just simply to join a community. Now, we're all in Facebook groups, we're all on different LinkedIn communities, we're different communities that are online, finding different events and things that are happening virtually on Eventbrite. We're good with that, right? But not only do we need to be inside these communities, we got to participate. Like, you got to show up. You got to show up and you got to say, hey, I'm going to take control over what it is that I want, why I'm in this community for the first place. And I'm going to not only get the value that I need, get the resources that I need, but I'm also going to just show up, because me showing up gives value to some of the other members as well. It makes the group, the community more robust. Have you ever been in a space where nobody wants to talk, but everybody's there to get something? You don't want to be that person. So, part of you growing inside of minimizing fatigue and burnout is actively participating, because the fatigue and the burnout comes from you sitting in it and keeping it to yourself and being still. And by no means am I saying go cry on everybody's shoulder. What I am saying is that if you're part of a community to grow, to build, to network, then do that. And you can't do that sitting alone in the corner quietly. You've got to jump in there. You got to become visible. You got to speak out. You got to share ideas. So it's more of this energy that goes back and forth. And the more energy that you give that's positive, that's good inside of these communities that are filled with people that are interested in the same things that you're interested in, that value the same things that you value, right? That's where you're going to start to get that on the reciprocal end. You're going to start to get some of that energy back. And when you get that good, that's what I call that good energy. When you get that good energy, burnout is pretty much like at a distance, right? We've got to find moments where we're inhaling, but also exhaling and releasing. And when you're in a community that you vibe with, that's going to happen for you. So you want to participate in conversations and discussions, ask questions. You got into the communities for a reason, right? Ask questions, offer your expertise to the business owners that are listening, right? Don't sit back and analyze everybody else's comments, right? Don't be that person. Okay. That's like the nosy neighbor across the street that's always peeking through the blinds, but never comes outside to say hello and communicate and connect. And, yeah, you don't want to be that person. You want to be the person that really takes the reins of being a huge entity of their corner of the community, right? You don't have to take over the community, right? But it's okay if you do. Show up, because when you stay alone and silent and still and work, processing things inwardly and not articulating these things out, not bouncing ideas off each other, that's when you become super tired, super stressed, super fatigued. That's when the burnout can happen. The burnout can happen not just for entrepreneurs, but just for us as Black women carrying all of the struggle of our families and our communities and our careers, right? We always carry the weight. There's got to be something that happens along the lines that you release some of that. So definitely find communities that speak to your love language of what gives you passion, what makes you happy, what makes you at peace. So you want to be an integral part of that, and also own your part in the community by being active and participating, right? The other thing is slightly almost on the same vein. And I'm talking to my entrepreneurs on this one. You need to step up and be speaking. You need to be on panels. You need to be putting yourself in position where you show up as the expert that you are. I can be in a room with 50 marketing experts. I can be in the room with 50 social media experts. But when I show up, I'm always the one that stands out because there's only one Paula Marie. And so, in this past year of talking to entrepreneurs that are suffering from fatigue and burnout, it's important for us to do things different this year. So if you were quiet and still in 23, you may not want to go into overdrive. I've done that before. I had a year of yes in 2022, and that almost burned me to the ground. But you definitely want to show up differently in this year than you did last if you want a different result to occur. That means that you have to step out on faith and you have to step out on your heart and your mind center. You got to step out on your expertise. So volunteer to speak at an event. I was literally looking for event space locally because I'm working on some things for this year. And I don't want to go into DC. I'm in the DMV. So I don't want to go into DC all the time, right? That's a lot. And there's a huge hub right here where I am in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. So I was just looking for some event space. Ran across an event space, right? And the event space, I was just looking over the information on the website, and they actually have entrepreneurs to come in and share their expertise to the membership community that rents their space, their work in their office space. Listen, I called, I emailed, I did all the things, okay? Because this is what I know. Every time I show up, I show out. And every time I show up and show out, I'm connecting with another piece to my puzzle that's going to grow me in a different direction. And when I'm growing, there's no way that I can really be burned out because when I'm growing, I'm making moves, and when I'm making moves, I am moving forward. Burnout, I've found, typically comes when you're moving forward alone, right? When you're moving, but there's no movement happening forward or backwards, or there's no movement at all, and you're spinning like a tire spinning, right? So, two of the ways that we talked about today that are going to combat burnout in part 7 of this, I think we're just going to carry this on for the whole year. This is part 7. The first is you got to show up on these online communities and find people that like what you like, that do what you do, that want to be where you want to be. When you're in those spaces with those like people, your energy changes. And when your energy changes, you're healthier, you're stronger. And our goal is not to burn to the ground. We're going to hit burnout all the way in its face this year. We're going to kick it in its teeth. We're going to minimize fatigue. We're going to derail stress. And part of that is finding your hub, your crew, right? So definitely find these online communities, and you'd be surprised. You will find that you are connected to somebody across the country, maybe on the other side of the world. That's how big these internets are right now. So we need hobbies and we need things that keep us excited. And when we're excited, super difficult to burn out. Super difficult. The other thing, the second point was you got to show up. You got to show up, and you got to show up in different ways. So volunteer, at your church, volunteer at local organizations, show up on speaking panels. I went on Clubhouse right before I went live, and the first chat that popped up was someone saying, "Hey, I'm working on some things. Hold on. Hey, I'm working on some things this year. I'm looking for speakers. Let me know if you're a speaker. Tell me what your topics are, right? Hey, stepped up. Now, this has been 3 days, and three speaking opportunities have like just presented themselves to me, right? Just because I was bold enough to say yes. I'm it. I didn't sit, I didn't look at the messages, I didn't keep scrolling by. I was actively participating in what was assigned to me. Because I feel like when these opportunities come to you, they are assigned to you. Like they could have went to anybody else. They could have crossed anybody else's eyes, but those opportunities crossed yours. And when you're showing up in that way, there's something that's about to change in your world. So, giving back is also the thing that's going to give us a sense of peace, calm, satisfaction inside of ourselves and just being happy, healthy, whole people. So, listen, I'm your girl, Paula Marie, aka the Ebony Biz Diva, aka Black Girls Do Pilates Too. However, you know me, okay, in these internet streets. Listen, this is episode 7 of how to combat burnout. If you were feeling stressed or struggling, or if you just want to look a little bit more into all the different tips every week, I send an email out to my tribe and I let them know a different way that they can combat burnout, minimize stress and fatigue. Because as we are growing as women, as we are growing as people, as we are growing in our businesses, the stress, the fatigue will come. It's up to us to find solutions and ways to combat it. So definitely check the link inside of the description, and I will see you later in these internet streets. Alrighty. Peace.